Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 37th Annual Athlone Institute of Technology Sports Awards. These awards have stood the test of time, and via our novel announcement tonight, we have maintained our unbroken record of honouring our students and their great achievements on the sporting fields. I'm delighted to be joined tonight in our iconic AIT International Arena by Professor Kyra the President of the Institute. Professor O'Cahan will, in due course, announce the nominees and winners. I will, as always, be ably assisted tonight by my predecessor, Richard O'Hara. Richard is the creator of these awards, and it's a great pleasure for us to have Richard on hand to interview our special guest, Kyra McGean, the Irish international athletics legend. We thank Kyra for giving up her time tonight. We normally hold a charity collection at our sports awards, but tonight we will make a donation to a charity nominated by Kyra. Kyra has nominated the Children's Cancer Charity Unit in Belfast. Given the current difficulties we face in the country and how these difficulties have affected third level sport, we felt it appropriate that we should still honour those who competed for AIT, albeit in many cases where our teams and students did not have the opportunity to finish out championships and national finals. We take special notice of our students who have now completed their studies at the Institute and will transition out into the working world. We wish you the best. As always, our coaches have had very difficult decisions to select 3 nominees and 1 winner from among their panels of committed teams and players. The winners are those who, over the course of 2019-20 academic year, committed to their clubs. But especially in the senior awards, we have people who showed commitment over the past 2, 3 and 4 years. Finally, I would like to acknowledge the efforts of my colleagues in the Sports Department. I wish to record special thanks to Department Administrator Stephanie Lennon, Assistant Sport and Recreation Manager David McHugh, our Development Officers Charlie Cooper, Lizzie Flynn, Bashir Hussain and Kieran Martin, our GA Development Officer. Thank you to the many part-time coaches and volunteers who manage and coach our teams to such a high level. I must also give special thank you to Gary Salmon, Jerry Joyce and David Curley, who moved on to pastures new since our 2019 awards. I will now call on Richard O'Hara to interview Kyra McGean. Thank you.
Hi Kyra, this is Richie here. Great to talk with you, and it's a real pleasure, and indeed it's an honour to talk with such an accomplished athlete. I hope you're keeping well, and just looking forward to a brief chat with you and in celebration of our Sports Award ceremony and celebrating virtual and all as it is, the 37th consecutive annual AIT Sports Award ceremony. So I'm delighted to link up with you, and just a few questions for you, Kyra, if I may. The first one is, tell us about your early introductions to athletics. Where did it start? Who were the influencers?
Yeah, my athletic career probably started relatively late in comparison to a lot of other athletes. I didn't do athletics whenever I was a little tot. I actually started out playing other sports and doing things like Irish dancing, and it wasn't my first introduction to racing probably would have been sports days at school, and I absolutely loved them and would have been very aggressively competitive at them. But my first real taste of like an actual organised athletic event, I did 2 cross-country races in primary school, and that was pretty low key. And then whenever I went to secondary school, my PE teacher, Miss McCambridge in Assumption Grammar in Ballynahinch, spotted that I was super competitive in PE class and probably had a bit of an engine, so asked me did I want to be on the cross country team, and that was really the start of what was going to be a very long and hopefully even longer career in athletics. I ran a couple of district cross countries. It wasn't the best at the start, it took me a little bit of time to cut my teeth in it, but the first time I won the district schools cross country in Delmont in County Down, I kind of went from strength to strength. I got a coach in Eamon Christie, was spotted by the Northern Irish Talent Academy, and then the rest is history. I was eventually introduced to the track and realised I'm a bit better at the track than I am at the cross, so I definitely preferred to stay on the track.
Okay, great, and what an introduction, and great to meet people who can influence and steer you in the right direction, as obviously happened in your early career in athletics. And so you also played other sports, Kyra, as a youngster. If I'm right in saying camogie might be one of them, can you tell us a little bit about those other activities?
Yeah, definitely. I grew up in Portaferry at the tip of the Ards Peninsula, and it's quite a small town, and we're pretty remote. So our access to some of the other kind of wider range of sports that you might get further up the peninsula is quite limited. But I grew up playing camogie for my local club, Portaferry Camogie Club in Portaferry GAC, and that was my first love, and probably will be my first love for the rest of my life. And I hold it very close to my heart. Camogie was definitely the sport I loved the most. I also did Irish dancing, tap dancing. I was in the drama club. I did everything, tried my hand at soccer. Was actually contemplating going and trying hockey for a while until I started doing cross country, and then that occupied my winters. But yeah, my love for sport really found it in camogie, and I have a huge family background in the GAA, so that really is where my love for competing began, and to be honest, probably made me the athlete I am today.
Great, fantastic. So a great interest in a wide variety of activities there, and as you said, particularly in camogie. Kyra, you recovered from a long-term injury to ultimately reach the podium at European level. During that difficult time, which I'm sure must have been a difficult time for you, what were your strategies during that period to keep you mentally fit and well, and to cope with that tough time?
Yeah, so for anybody who didn't know, a pretty bad, suffered a pretty bad injury. I ended up having to have surgery at the end of my junior career, and I had a very successful junior career running for Ireland, winning world medals, European medals, Commonwealth medals, and then it all came to a halt whenever I got a bad pain in my left ankle, which ultimately culminated in me missing an Olympic Games. I had got the B standard for London and didn't get selected, and decided that I needed to go through with surgery after that, after kind of chasing my tail through pain. So I had surgery at the end of the 2012 year, and that was quite a time for me as an athlete. It was pretty tough. I had probably, I think it was either a 3 or 4 year gap of getting an Irish vest from when I had my surgery to whenever I got back competing for Ireland, which was a huge blow to me, who had been out wearing the Irish vest but winning medals for Ireland year after year as a junior. So it was pretty hard, but during that time I really combated those struggles with giving myself new goals. So one of the things that I struggled with most was my identity as an athlete, because growing up, once I started athletics, everybody knew me as the runner, and that was kind of my identity. And in fairness, I had internalized that image a lot myself, and kind of viewed my own ability and my own worth through athletics. So I had to learn a new way to see that I was a valuable person and that I wasn't simply just an athlete. So that took some time, and it was very hard. And luckily I was studying my degree in UCD. I was doing physiotherapy, so it gave me another target. I really focused in on my studies. I had fantastic friends around me, but I also found new ways to challenge myself physically. So I wasn't able to run, but I found a new way to really cope with this, because I really need to compete. So I started competing with myself in the gym and doing the exercises that I could, and I would maybe try to hit new squat PBs, new pull-up PBs, different things like that really kept feeding into that real competitive nature in me, who loved sport and who really missed being out there on the track. So I really combated both those things, found a new focus in physiotherapy, and discovered that my worth isn't solely on the track, that me as a person is just as important. I'm very lucky at that time to have been coached by Jerry Kiernan, who brought me through it and is a fantastic role model in life, never mind just as an athlete. So having Jerry there helping me every step of the way, I had a fantastic team around me that I'm very lucky that was supported through the Institute of Sport and Irish Athletics. So yeah, I had a great network around, and I'd say for anybody who's going through a struggle in time, be it with injury, or maybe you're finding college hard, or there's family troubles, or who knows, we all have our own little battles to face. Find that little team that's around you, and it might be some close friends, it might be family members, it might be that you need some help from somebody else. Like I began working with sports psych through some of the injuries that I faced, so I nearly sought professional help with a lot of it, and there's no shame in that. So if you're going through any struggles with that, really don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. And sometimes just setting yourself a little goal outside of your norm can make you feel so much more self-worth. So I eventually got back and won a medal, so it did well.
And great credit to you for coming through that difficult time and listening to you there. I mean, it did take great resolve, mentally and physically. And of course, you were lucky. And mentioning Jerry Kieran, and I mean, what a legend he has been. And to have somebody like that at your side and supporting you must have been hugely beneficial. But first and foremost, great credit to yourself for coming through that difficult time. Kyra, you competed at the track in AIT and in the Grand Prix. Did you enjoy the experience? Would you say it's a fast track?
Oh, definitely. I enjoyed the experience immensely. It's always so lovely coming home, especially now that I'm living in England. Coming back to Ireland just seems like a real sense of return to home, seeing the green fields and really knowing that I'm among the Irish and the Irish crowd, because there's something so electric as there's nothing more electric really as whenever the Irish are supporting their own. So
Yeah.
that stadium is fantastic. The fact that the crowd gets so close, the noise just lifts you. And seeing as I've ran a few Irish records on that track, I would definitely say it's fast. It's a fantastic meet, and I think it's only going to go from strength to strength and get faster and faster with better and better fields going in, because it's great to have top class fields to compete against as well. So yeah, some more Irish records hopefully will come in AIT.
It's really great to hear you saying that, because we take pride in the facility, and we think it's a fantastic facility to have in Athlone, and it's wonderful to hear you giving it such praise. It's very encouraging to younger athletes coming up, and having that endorsement is just great, Kyra, and we really do appreciate it. Have you, we're in this very difficult time and strange time with the pandemic. How are you managing with this? Have you changed your training to any great degree, or to what degree during the restrictions?
Yeah, I suppose training has been a little bit different just due to restrictions that are imposed on us. Like, we were restricted in maybe how many times we could head outside. I'm lucky enough that we didn't have the restrictions here in England that he's had at home in the south, with the 2K radius and then 5K radius. So I was able to go out for a long run and not just go in a 2K area, which I felt very fortunate about whenever I knew that people at home were having to do that. Training's only been slightly changed. I've still tried to keep my mileage there and training hard. And to be honest, I'm probably in the best shape I've ever been at this time of year, which is interesting, seeing as the racing season is a bit up in the air. But it has been challenging in other ways as well. That whole mental aspect of the Olympic Games being cancelled, European Champs being cancelled, and the whole not knowing what the rest of the summer is really going to hold. Whenever I'm out there and I'm training hard and I feel knackered at the end of the week, it can be a wee bit hard knowing that the end goal isn't the same as it usually is. Like, my whole season gears up to getting the Irish Fest on and competing for Ireland. I find it less motivating getting ready for some of those other meets, which people might be surprised. Like, I wouldn't be as motivated for a Diamond League as I am for competing at a Champs in my Irish Fest. So I have to really look at new focuses this year, and looking towards the few races that I do have, and really kind of channeling my energy into those. It's also been tough being away from home. I haven't got to get home to Ireland since Athlone IT, and I haven't seen my boyfriend in Dublin for over 80 days now, so I'm counting. So it is hard. It throws up its challenges, but I think really it's kind of the same for us all across the board, and just keeping the head down and keeping focused. And I have up days and down days, that's for sure. As I said before, I'm lucky to have a fantastic team around me, so I chat to my teammates about it, my coaches, my friends and my family, and my sports psych, and they really help with trying to keep the head in the right place. So it is tough. We're all facing it, but I just feel lucky that there's been no health problems with anybody that is close to me, so that's the main thing.
It's great to hear that you are coping well and adapting, and that it's so that leads us on to the next question, Kyra, and you've touched on it already. But so, what are you striving for? What is your goal at the moment?
Yeah, I suppose it's been hard. It's something that myself and my coach have talked about. So I probably have immediate goals in the sense that there are a few races in the pipeline. Some of the Diamond Leagues have been confirmed for the coming few months. They're not all set in stone, and I'm not sure just yet which events are going to be at each one. But chatting to my agent, I'm hoping to secure a few of those races, and then hopefully as well that gives everybody at home something positive to look forward to seeing some Irish people on the track competing and showing that we can be just as dominant and strong in the world of athletics. Then in the bigger picture, despite the fact that there's not a major champ this year, I'm really viewing this year as an opportunity for me to close the gap on the girls who were ahead of me. I finished 10th at the World Champs last year, which was my first world final. And I knew that the gap between 10th and first was pretty big. There's a huge margin between me and Safan Hassan. But I stepped off the track there and said to my coach, what do I need to do to be in that top 5 and be competitive? And I knew I needed time. So I'm really viewing this as something positive, that I have an extra year to work on that strength. And only chatting to my teammate Yip this morning about some of that lack of motivation, where I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, Yip, I'm training so hard. I had a training session on Tuesday that gave me a taste of lactate for the first time in a while, and I was like, oh, this is what middle distance running's like. I forgot, because it's you dip back into the speed and suddenly your body reminds you, and it's hard whenever you don't have the same focus and the same end goal. But chatting to her and chatting among my teammates, like, look, this is all miles in the bag, and it's really going to stand to us next year whenever the Olympics does roll around. So if some of the athletes don't have an immediate goal, always remember that the training is there and it stands to us in the future. So the work that we put now and those real ground force and that kind of the basics give us such a strong baseline to build on, and hopefully we can have a fantastic tip to that whenever we do get back out racing.
Right. Well, Kyra, it's obviously there's a very noticeable and outstanding competitive streak in you, and just on that particular issue, can you give us an insight into competing? What is the best part about competing, and the flip side, what's the worst part about competing, or are there two sides to it?
There certainly is. There's definitely a worst part. Anybody who knows me would, or anybody who's actually been around me whenever I'm competing, knows that I get extremely nervous. And I'll be nervous for everything. I'll be nervous for the heats at the national champs, and I'll be nervous for the Europeans, and I'll be nervous for the Worlds. And people might be surprised to know that I'm nervous for the heats of the national champs, because they think, here's a dead cert, she'll get through the rounds and she'll be racing and she'll hopefully, all being well, medal and win gold at nationals. But I still get nervous because things can go wrong, and I'm quite strict in my mind, and I'm like, I have to carry out this task and I have to do that. So I'd say for me the nerves are the worst part, and I'm starting to learn so much more about what the best part is, because I've had to act on my own kind of nervousness and really start to view racing as a positive. I enjoy training much more than racing in the past, and I find racing really intimidating. But now I step foot on the line, and every time I do, I tell myself that it's such a privilege to be here and that I want to be here. And really that's probably the best thing about racing for me, is toeing the line and realizing how much of an honor it is to get out there and to represent yourself and to really showcase the best that you can be. That's something that is so fantastic, and we have such a tangible way to do it in athletics, that we go out and we perform the best that we can possibly be on that day, and there's something fantastic about that. And I'd say quite the best thing for me is sticking on that Irish vest. The fact that I can compete for my country is everything that I've wanted in sport. So I know whenever I walk away from athletics, the thing I'll miss the most is donning that Irish vest and seeing the tricolour fly.
Okay, and Kyra, that takes me on then. And while you were talking about there the competitive elements and the best and the worst about competing, I have to ask you then, what word describes you? What one word describes you? If you were to if there is one word.
Oh goodness, it's so hard. One word to sum it all up. I think I have so many different aspects to my life. In athletics, I like to think that I'm fierce, that I'm strong, that I'm determined. I'd probably say fierce, because I can push myself into places that I don't even know that I don't know how I get there myself. Whenever I see the end of some of those cross country races, I think, oh God, that shows something. But then on the flip side, me as an athlete, I think, or me as a person, I know that the thing that I want to be the most in my life is kind, and somebody that people can look on as a role model, and as somebody that they can turn to. So I think there's two sides of me: that fierce competitive athlete, and somebody who wants to be a positive influence in the world. And if I finished and somebody just said Kyra McGain's a lovely kind girl, that's the biggest compliment they could pay me.
Okay. And then Kyra, I suppose just coming to the end of our chat, and it's been a great pleasure. Tell us just what you do in your spare time.
Oh goodness, my spare time. I'm very, very lucky to be a full-time athlete. So I am pretty used to this lockdown experience. Everybody else is like, what do we do with all this time? This is pretty much my life. I train and then I chill in the house, I recover. So my spare time is probably occupied right now. I'm reading books, I'm listening to audiobooks. I'm currently trying to educate myself quite a lot on a lot of the topics that are happening in the world right now, with everything happening in America and the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm actually trying to take a really active role myself in educating myself on that. So that's what's occupying a lot of my time right now, and I'm trying to learn. And I think it's a fantastic opportunity for people to learn a little bit more about ourselves and about the world around us. And then outside of that, I absolutely love arts and crafts. So I could be cross stitching, making cards. I send a lot of postcards home and to my brothers and sisters. So I do an awful lot of that. And I'm trying to learn to play the guitar. And every time I mention it, I'm even more embarrassed because I'm so bad that it's hilarious. So yeah, my spare time's occupied with a good few of those. As well, I spend a lot of time chatting to my friends and family at home. So if anybody checked my phone, WhatsApp is probably the most used app on my phone because I'm always on the phone to them, and my housemates would vouch for that. So my spare time is pretty much occupied with all of that. But yeah, try to find positive ways to use up my time.
And I think I'd have to say a multitasker and multi-talented.
I try. I don't know about the talented when it comes to music.
So, Kyra, before we get on to just a light-hearted, quick-fire round of questions, 7 or 8 years' time, where's Kyra going to be? Where do you see yourself?
Okay, I'm 28 now. 7 or 8 years' time will put me at 35, 36. So I know for sure, right, I'm going to be around for another Olympic cycle. I have absolutely no plans on retiring from athletics anytime soon. I don't know what will happen after that next year's I'm considering another Olympic cycle after that, so we'll count that as 5 years. Okay. Then, to be honest, who knows? I'm a bit of a home bird. I can always see myself moving back home to Ireland, back home to Northern Ireland, and maybe living near my parents somewhere, maybe not quite as far away as Portaferry, because if I'm in the same relationship I'm in now with my lovely boyfriend Thomas, I don't know if he could settle in Portaferry. It's so far away from everything. But I always see myself moving home, settling down, and I'm very fortunate to have a degree in physiotherapy that I absolutely love. So whenever the athletics is all over, I can see myself being a physio and working hopefully in the community, and it's something that I look forward to. Maybe starting a family one day, but I definitely haven't thought that far in advance, so who knows? I might still be running in circles.
No, I'm sure you won't. I think it's very obvious. There's great structure and about you, and you have a very clear vision of where you want to be, and I'm absolutely sure that you'll get to where you want to be, and certainly deserve that too, Kyra. Just a round of quick fire ones. Tea or coffee? Preferences? Tea or coffee?
Tea all the way. I hate coffee.
Gin or cocktail?
Ooh, don't drink much, but I would go for a cocktail.
Star Wars or James Bond?
James Bond.
Graham Norton or Ryan Tubridy?
Graham Norton.
Cheese and onion or salt and vinegar?
Oh, salt and vinegar.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
High heels or spikes?
Oh, spikes. They both hurt my feet though.
Donald Trump or Boris Johnson?
Oh my goodness. Can you pick none? Clowns to the left of us and jokers to the right.
Okay.
There.
Monaco or Rio?
Monaco.
Okay, that's that. And Kyra, just to finish off, has been my great pleasure to speak with you. Great pleasure and said a privilege. Delighted to talk, and thank you for sharing all of that information with us and giving us an insight into you, your achievements, and what you are all about. The very best of luck to you, and we look forward to watching your progress and looking forward to your continued success.
Well, thank you so much for having me on, and well done to all of the athletes from AIT on a fantastic year. I know it's so strange for us all, but I want to say well done and good luck to all of you in all of your future endeavours and all of your endeavours in sport as well. So well done, lads, and thank you so much for inviting me on.
A pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everybody, at the 37th Annual Sports Awards, and indeed the quietest awards that I've been at in my 20 years partaking in this ceremony. So moving on now to the 37th Annual Sports Awards. For archery, the nominees are Tuncan Algun, Sarah Jasmine Ferrelli, and Kito Auchun, and the winner is Sarah Jasmine Jaffelli. Men's athletics, the nominees are Abraham Mirais Trusta, Jerry Curie, and Oisin Fitzgibbon, and the winner is Abraham Mirais Trusta. In women's athletics, the nominees are Grace Lawler, Nadine Dunnigan, and Amy McTaggart, and the winner is Grace Lawler. For badminton, Zhang Pang, Kai-Ying Hu, and Hurin Chin, and the winner is Zhang Pang. For men's basketball, the nominees are Adam Gavigan, Alejandro Karachi, and Juskus Perestreka, and the winner is Adam Gadavan. For women's basketball, the nominees are Amy McTaggart, Roisin Lean, Bridget Gleeson, and the winner is Roisin Lean. Women's senior camogie, the nominees are Mairead Tehan, Lisa Donnelly, Sinead O'Keefe, and the winner is Mairead Tehan. For freshers camogie, the nominees are Zoe Daly, Kyra Foley, and Chloe Butler, and the winner is Kyra Foley. For senior football, the nominees are Cathal Mannion, Andy Craig, and Nigel Hart, and the winner is Cathal Mannion. For intermediate football, the nominees are Luke McHale, Bryce Butler, Michael Killian, and the winner is Luke McHale. For freshers football, the nominees are Dara Daly, Kieran King, and Shane Allen, and the winner is Shane Allen. For ladies football Giles Cup, the nominees are Sinead O'Keefe, Niamh Fleming, and Brona Gagan, and the winner is Sinead O'Keefe. For ladies football, the nominees are Rebecca Nolan, Sinead McGinty, and Tara Lee, and the winner is Rebecca Nolan. For hockey, the nominees are Jessica De Petrelli, Kevin Kelly, and Joel Conboy, and the winner is Jessica De Petrelli. For senior hurling, the nominees are Mark Caulfield, James O'Hara, and Donald McMahon, and the winner is Mark Caulfield. Freshers hurling, the nominees are Jack McCullough, Owen Doran, and Dermot Summers, and the winner is Dermot Summers. For karting, the nominees are Saeed Bahar, Darren Muldoon, and Stephanie MacDonald, and the winner is Darren Muldoon. For pool, the nominees are Adam O'Neill McKnight, Brian Dowling, and Ryan Callan, and the winner is Adam O'Neill McKnight. For senior rugby, the nominees are Sam Prupta, Alex Porter and Ethan Giffiths, and the winner is Alex Porter. For the seconds rugby, the nominees are Christian Joker, Lee Baker and Sean McGuinness, and the winner is Sean McGuinness. For freshers rugby, the nominees are Mark Walker, Andy Evans and Jack Greeley, and the winner is Mark Walker. For women's rugby, the nominees are Emma Richardson, Orla O'Donovan and Rebecca Spraves, and the winner is Orla O'Donovan, apologies. For soccer, the A team, the nominees are Kevin Kelly, James McKinney and Luke Kelly, and the winner is James McKinney. For the soccer B team, the nominees are Luca Varuca, Petro Latour and Tiernan Collins, and the winner is Petro Latour. For the soccer C team, the nominees are Julian Daman, Sam Bello and Demi Dar, and the winner is Demi Dar. For the soccer D team, the nominees are Mark Hyland, Aaron McCann and Adam Quigley, and the winner is Mark Hyland. For freshers soccer, the nominees are Aaron Leggett, Bradley Okeda and Oisin Duffy, and the winner is Aaron Leggett. For women's soccer, the nominees are Chloe McNamee, Colleen Richard and Eva Gowran, and the winner is Chloe McNamee. For futsal, the nominees are Francesco Caron, John Carbolos and Pedro Latour, and the winner is Francesco Caron. For men's volleyball, the nominees are Nicolo Moroni, Stefano Mazzarello and Vittoro De Goros, and the winner is Stefano. For the women's volleyball, the nominees are Julia Lagora, Laura Rodriguez and Gabrielle Garcia Gerard, and the winner is Julia Lagoro. So congratulations to all of the nominees and indeed to all the winners, and we're sorry that we can't be with you tonight to celebrate as we normally do our awards, but it's still not to take away from the fact that you have been nominated and indeed that you have won an award this evening. I wish you every success as you move on if you're finishing here in AIT. And again, I would like to thank Gordon and all of the team in the sports department for the wonderful work that they do to ensure that you have a great time here on campus in AIT. Cuireadh Morgan.
So finally, just to wrap up, we just want to thank you all for tuning in tonight on this very special occasion. It's our first time to announce our awards via Instagram, and I think it's been a success in terms of getting the information out quickly to our students. We just want to wish all of our students a bright future, those who are leaving us and finish their studies at the Institute, and trust that you all stay safe for the rest of the summer. For those that should come back, we look forward to seeing you in September. So again, I'd like to thank Professor O'Cahan and Richard O'Hara for coming in tonight to help us out with these awards and make the announcements. So thank you very much.